boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Welcome back to Old Man Media Podcast with your hosts. Well, why'd you laugh? That was good. That was good announcing. Welcome back to Old Man Media Podcast. Welcome back to Old Man Media Podcast with your hosts.
Will Reg,
Paul Buchanan, me. I haven't done an episode in a while. I'm feeling a bit rusty.
Yeah, we recorded a couple last time. Been in the studio.
We're only going to record the Amiga 1 for you guys today.
Amiga 1?
Because someone didn't listen to the album.
Okay, yeah, fine, and that's my fault. I've had a busy week for work.
Not good enough, is it?
Sorry. But, yeah, we got a couple of more episodes in the works. Exciting episode.
Yeah, man. We might be welcoming our first guest to the pod.
We have a correspondent coming in.
And then actually we've got a couple guests lined up potentially. A couple of episode ideas, potentially 3. So that's something to look forward to. So yeah, it's not been. Things have been working in the background, although we appear as we are today.
We appear completely unprepared.
Korean film in hand.
That came out 2 months ago.
2 months ago. I saw it a month ago, so I've forgotten most of it.
Yeah.
But, so today we're talking about No Other Choice, Park Chan-Wook.
Famously of Old Boy, Sympathy
Old Boy Media.
Old Boy Media. That's good, I should have done that.
Fuck.
Have you seen Old Boy?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you lent it to me, I think.
Oh, did I? Yeah, that's good.
When I was like 16, and I was like, fuck, man, that's weird.
Was that when I also lent you Bad Lieutenant?
No, that was another. That was during lockdown.
That's a funny story. Do you want to tell that story?
during lockdown, Will used to bring me films because he was studying film course, and I wouldn't say I was uneducated, but I feel like you told me to watch like Goodfellas or something, and I was like, or Taxi Driver, and I was like, whoa, I love film now. I'm gonna go and watch them. And he like very kindly would drop around films during lockdown for me to watch. And the first film he dropped around was Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai, which is a great film if you haven't seen it. It's got
Forrest Whitaker, directed by Jim Jarmusch.
He plays a modern day samurai.
Yeah,
and then you know what? That's a perfect tie-in to promote my upcoming single.
Just to interrupt that story.
Interrupt the story with a bit of marketing.
Samurais.
Speaking of samurais, well, they don't know about the samurais. But again, the cover up. I'm releasing my first single 3rd of April. It's a Friday. It's
Not long.
I Can Be Alone by Paul A. Buchanan. That's me. So yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled because we've got some special stuff coming out in relation to that. So, very exciting times.
Old Man Media's first foray into music videos.
Yeah, first foray onto screen.
Sorry, anybody... Right, you watched Ghost Dog with
Ghost
the family.
Dog, Way of the Samurai. Forrest Whitaker plays modern day samurai. It's pretty badass. RZA does the soundtrack.
Yeah, great soundtrack. I have it on vinyl.
Yeah, fantastic film. Watched out with the family and it went down a tree and everyone was like, oh, Will can, recommend us more films like that. That was great. And then he drops around Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel, which I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's an incredibly graphic, disturbing, like really, when films you watch with your parents and you're like, oh god, you just want like scenes to end because it's so awkward and you want to turn it off. It was a scene that goes on for even for a film must have been like 2 or 3 minutes, and it just like gets the tension kind of rises. In that effect, it's very well done. But because I was watching it with my family, it's basically he like pulls over this woman and then gets her to like strip because he's a lieutenant and he's like stripped while he's like wanking over her, and it's like, whoa man, like and this
goes on for a long time.
It goes on for a really awkward amount of time, and we were just like, after a bit I was like, should we just turn it off? And then I think we pressed through, but the mood was kind of ruined, and I think my parents would like lost interest and left the room. And me and my brother watched it to a certain point.
To be fair, I didn't realise that he was going to watch them with his family. I thought he was going to watch them on his own. I didn't realise Natalie would be there. That
was the last DVD that Will Rag dropped over in lockdown.
Yeah, I got excommunicated for a few years after that.
So, No Other Choice, topic of today's podcast.
Yeah.
Korean film by Park Chan-Wook. Seen Old Boy. Have you seen The Handmaiden or any of his other films?
Yes. So Handmaiden's incredible. It's really. Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, Handmaiden's great. I'll lend it to you as well. You can watch that one with your family. Don't worry.
You think?
Yeah. Oh, maybe not actually.
Great.
Anyway, it's really good. Full of lots of twists and turns you don't expect.
Well, there's a really handy website that Beth reminded me of last night where it's Who Killed the Dog or something. Does the dog die? There's a website and you look it up and it's got all the traumas that possibly occur in a film. So next time you're watching a film with your family and you're unsure what the way it's going to go,
find out there's a 10-minute long.
I want to see what Bad Lieutenant's thing is on Who Killed the Dog.
It certainly will be.
Yeah. But yeah, and what other films does Park Chan-Wook do?
So he does Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. There's a great film that he does called Joint Security Area. I think that's one of his like kind of more slightly undiscovered gems. It's set at the Korean border. It's about like the North Korean and South Korean guards get into like, it's almost like this Shakespearean operatic play of like I don't know, there's almost like a bit of gay romance in there as well. It's really, really good. I really recommend it. That's a really good one. But I've been a long time admirer of Park Chan-Wook, and when he said this new film might be his masterpiece, I had to go and watch it.
Yeah, I think we've only briefly spoken about our opinions, but just we rocked up and we were talking about our angle on the podcast, and Will was like, I want to compare it to Parasite and why Parasite worked for me and No Other Choice didn't. And I was taken aback because I really, really enjoyed No Other Choice. I thought it was excellent filmmaking. I felt like there's something about... I mean, it is very similar to Parasite. It does feel like he's watched Parasite and gone, like, I'm going to do my version of this.
Yeah, a little bit. But to be fair to him, he actually started trying to make that film in 2009. Because it's an adaptation of a book called The Axe.
The Axe by Donald E.
Westbrook. Which Kostas Gavras, a Greek director, had already done, which is why it's dedicated to him. So to be fair, it's not just like it does feel like he's watched Parasite and then he's gone, but he has been planning this for quite a while, and it feels a lot more apt now than it would have in 2009, I think. Given how much, because I mean the film's all about how middle management is like eroding away due to like technological advancements and cost cutting measures at big companies, and so it feels a lot more apt in the past couple of years than it would have in 2009, I feel.
Yeah,
I think that's why it has got quite a big reception. Like a lot of people have been praising the film quite rightly. I think there is a lot to love about the film.
It's the whole kind of AI stuff that is mind blowing to me. That it feels so predictive of that. Like there's moments in the film where it doesn't even show AI, but heavily alludes to that. Even the process where he's going back. He's made a fake paper company and getting applications so that he can learn about what makes an ideal paper application and then kind of reverse engineer it. And then obviously he would go on to just use this as a kill list to kill every other candidate.
I thought it was originally for that. I thought it was originally to get the kill list. I didn't think it was.
No, yeah, it is. But I don't know. Even that process kind of it's almost like the inside goings of a AI brain of like, you need a CV, let me just process all this stuff and then but it's like
use all of these other CVs to
it's a little bit more like obviously he's formulating a kill list of all the other applicants, but again it's just this kind of like thing that we're in at the moment where the technology is moving faster than we have the ability to tell the moral implications of it. I like to think of it a lot like vaping, where people are always like, oh yeah, we don't know if like the effects will be worse in long term because it's not been about long enough, or it's been about 10-15 years now, but like we don't know what the long term effects of someone vaping for an entire lifetime will be, and what it will do to their offspring and vice versa. But it's the same thing with like ChatGPT. Like I don't know, like I feel like I can't be healthy to
dumber.
Yeah, and like it's the same thing. People say the same thing about Google, but it feels like it's like Google like to the nth degree. It's like scary how like reliant you can become on it. For
even still with Google, there
things.
was still like an amount of like user skill in trying to get what you wanted, and also then like cross-referencing stuff and making sure you weren't just believing one person. I don't know. Well, I think a lot of people did, obviously, but like. There is an amount of it that's like if ChatGPT says it is right,
Yeah.
And it's not. It's wrong all the time. I use Google. I have to use AI. I don't want to use AI, but like I have to use AI when I use Google now because that's just the default.
Yeah.
And I go and like check the AI results, and sometimes it's just wrong. Like quite more often than not, but like I would say 3 out of 10 times it's wrong.
It's because there'll be someone on a Reddit thread that's like, I don't know,
some bullshit.
Yeah,
on Reddit.
and then it takes all these sources in, and then it doesn't. I don't know what its metric is for collaborating the answer to, but then it'll just be like, right, this is, I've got to complete this in the certain amount of time. I'll just chuck out this towards you. But yeah, no, I feel almost fortunate that I grew up, I went to university just on the cusp before AI was introduced. I don't even think I even used AI in 2023 when it started coming about, and I graduated in like 21 or 22, so I was like, I only actually recently started using AI like a year ago, and even then it's just like for medial like bullshit stuff.
Yeah, I don't like using it.
Like sometimes I'll see a film quote on Twitter and I can't identify it, and then I'll go through chat or like
Grok, what's this?
No, it was nice. Like my granddad was watching a film and he told me it was a film, and I looked up on Letterboxd and it wasn't, because it was on TV and it was a completely different film, a completely different actor who he gave. But I just gave a description of the film I saw on the TV at the time, as well as all the information that he said about which actor it was, and then ended up coming up with Battle of Telemark.
What's that?
I don't know, just like an old English 60s film. I want to get more into that kind of, UK classic stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough British films. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, going back to like No Other Choice, like it's a lot at the end of it. It's like about kind of environmental damage, right? That last bit of the film. And then, but like AI is also using fuck tons of water.
Yeah.
And like water's already like a fairly scarce resource. I remember being a kid and they were like, "Oh, make sure you turn the tap off when you brush your teeth." And then we're here,
pipe man.
Then we're here fucking 20 years later, just flushing water. I don't know. It's just
I would have expected us to be a lot more like restricted with water usage in this day and age. I don't even think we've seen a hosepipe ban in a while.
I thought there would have been some in the UK when there was a heat wave last year.
There's a heat wave every year. Yeah,
there is. There's so many heat waves in the UK now. Anyway,
weather. We're going on an old man tangent, but the weather.
The hosepipe
bans. The weather recently has just been bonkers. It's like it was
really sunny for 3 days.
Yeah, I got my hopes off. What summer or spring had arrived, and then it's just back to bull. I look at the weather forecast, all grey clouds for a week. Someone really needs to sort that out.
Someone needs to go back to the settings.
Mr. Big Weather.
It's Big Weather Man's fault. So No Other Choice. Released 2025 at Venice Film Festival. I believe it was the premiere. And to much critical acclaim, and I think it's very easy to see why. It has that. I think it's very obvious that Park and Bong are buddies. When you look at it, it feels like his most Bong-like film. In that kind of
really funny.
I wasn't trying to make a joke.
Yeah, I know, but no, it's just a really funny Bong-like film, wasn't it? For our viewers at home, that's Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho, yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned in my name first. Bong Joon-ho.
Not paraphernalia for smoking cannabis.
Man, Park was smoking some bong before this.
Gonna smoke a Bong Joon-ho.
What did you say the other night where the Bong Joon-ho's at?
Well, yeah, that was good.
By the balance of tone, I think it goes from almost Looney Tunes type comedy. I think Park even says that it was inspired in part by Looney Tunes.
Is there like a section where there's a cartoon on the screen or something?
I don't remember the kids. No, but the kid watches like cello.
Yeah, the kid's like,
I don't know. I can't remember.
I just have like this little. Maybe it was one of the unemployed people.
That's it. Yeah, the alcoholic.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he's watching cartoons.
There's so much to unpack in this film, and it's really difficult having not seen it since like a month ago. But
Yeah.
there's like, obviously there's a few other people that are in his exact situation in that film. Like, obviously there's people competing for the other jobs, including that guy who's like an alcoholic, and he's kind of taken the other approach of just, you know, self-destructing, going straight to just drinking beer
fatalism.
and watching TV all day. Yeah, I don't know, it's a sort of I watched some YouTube videos to refresh my memory, and I was, you know, the unpacking of identity being tied to employment and family and a house, and, you know, it's kind of like his whole life falls apart and he doesn't have anything else apart from maybe the one small thing that he actually does for himself as a hobby is gardening.
Yeah,
you know, that's his own like fortitude of self. And it's interestingly, because that's used in a metaphorical sense as well, of him, like, you know, going in the greenhouse to commit, like, chop up the body and like
that's
do all
where
these.
he does his own like hobbies, and then he also chops up bodies. And
So it's got this whole like the house as a metaphor thing, which
is obviously similar to Parasite.
And very similar to Parasite. And also, when we watched Sentimental Value and they opened the house, I was expecting a similar sort of thing to happen in that film, which I don't think really. I thought they'd explore the house as like a vehicle for like the emotions and grief and stuff between them, you know. I just thought that in this film, him losing the house and then having to like work his way back up to it, and then like the other people moving into this house, and
they never actually lost the house, did they? They never actually moved out.
Yeah.
In No Other Choice, I don't think they did. They had other people to come and look at it, but then he was like, "You're never going to buy my house," because he was his son got caught nicking from his store or something.
Oh yeah.
Something like that, and then they blackmail him because they know. Oh.
Well, like there's a storyline where the two kids, they get caught stealing or something together, and then one of them takes the fall more than the other.
Yeah, so it's very similar to Parasite in a lot of ways, in how the family dynamic has been corrupted by capitalism, and they're becoming eroded. Like, it's very interesting that both of them have like nuclear families, husband, wife, one boy, one girl, older boy, younger girl.
There's an interesting facet is that it wasn't one of the kids is adopted in.
Yes, that's what I was like to come to next.
Yeah.
But the nuclear family in No Other Choice isn't quite complete because
it's a bit more manufactured almost.
Yeah. And it's it's been manufactured in that way, and then he loses his job, and he loses that money that was coming in, and he loses like his sense of self. I mean, I think that's pretty worn territory now, but like I think I want to say, I don't know if this is a generalization or not, but like in some of those East Asian countries, your sense of self is tied to your job a lot more than maybe it is here. And so that's him being the primary breadwinner as well. This is like, you talk about nuclear families and how capitalism has worked in the past in, say, the 50s. There was a sole breadwinner. You look at Mad Men, and this is also about the degradation of the nuclear family. In that there was a sole breadwinner, and there were two kids, and then the wife stays home and looks after the kids, goes to her tennis lessons, and then comes back. But how can that be done when middle management, those sorts of jobs that the breadwinners had, is being eroded and being taken away by? And how do you operate in those sorts of environments where the job number of jobs is becoming smaller and smaller? Are you aware of the concept of late capitalism? It's like obviously after World War II, there was the workforce increased because women came into the workforce, but then also the amount of jobs decreased because of automation and things like that.
Industrialization.
And so that was 60 years ago. Well, more than that, 70, 80 years ago.
Not only that, but in a lot of places, especially the UK, a lot of sectors have been privatised because the government simply couldn't afford to keep them going. And then by the privatisation of it, they've become run a lot more monetarily and like less, I don't know, just like more selfishly, I guess, more,
Yeah.
corporate and capitalistic than otherwise if it was run by the government and, you know, a bit more of a community serving service. You know, for example, the train system in the UK,
Privatised.
which is private. Everyone talks about since it's been privatised, just gone worse and
Royal
worse and
Mail
worse.
privatised.
Well, Royal Mail recently privatised. I actually feel like it's gotten better recently.
Well, I mean, the post office I used to work at has gotten far worse.
Really?
It's really bad.
Well, I guess it's quite recent, isn't it? But
yeah,
I don't know. As long as the post gets through my door, that's all I see. What's different on the inside of the Royal Mail?
Well, the office that I worked, since I left, they haven't hired anyone else, and they've lost 3 more people.
So it sounds like efficiency's up.
No, it's not. The post just isn't going out.
Really?
Yeah, like there'll be double, triple mail on certain routes. I mean, all parcels will always get delivered. This is a big thing on the BBC recently. That posties were telling the BBC that they were told to prioritise parcels and don't bother too much with mail, even if it's first class. And I knew that. I've known that for well over a year or 2 years even. And I didn't know that was bad. Like if you're working in the Royal Mail, that's just like, yeah, of course, like we have to deliver the parcels because they're tracked and the post isn't. So anyway, no other choice didn't work for me quite as well as Parasite did. I think, like I said, it's very Bong-like in its approach to the certain themes and the storyline. I don't know. It's not quite as bonkers as a Bong film. Have you seen Bong's latest, the sci-fi one?
No, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, it's good, but it's fucking weird. Like it's really odd. For a Bong film, I thought it was really odd.
That film looks like. Have you ever heard of that game? Oh, what's the fucking with Norman Reedus where he like tracks packages and stuff?
Oh, the one with Kojima did.
Yes, it's very Hideo Kojima-esque. Like from what the outside looking in. What is that game called? The walking simulator.
Death Stranding.
There we go. So yeah, that film. It's the plot as well is very similar to. There's a delivery modern day in a post-apocalyptic world delivery man or something, and he keeps respawning or whatever.
Yeah, so he's a clone. He's a guy that gets cloned all the time.
Yeah.
And then he dies for scientific research, and then is brought back. It's taking place on a book.
But yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah, it was good.
Weird.
Tony Collette's really good in it. So is Mark Ruffalo, obviously. But yeah, Tony Collette's the big thing I remember from the film, because obviously it came out last year or year before, is Tony Collette's character being obsessed with sauces. She's like really like the whole time is like she has to perfect her sauces for her dishes.
Right.
And that was her big character trait.
Fair. I mean, I respect it. I've always said that the most important part of eating chips is the sauce. If the sauce wasn't there, I wouldn't be as interested. Like for me, I'm getting that obscenely like 80% to like 20% chip ratio. Yeah,
no reduced sugar.
No,
absolutely not. Not fucking with that.
Maybe
have you ever had Heinz beans reduced sugar?
Yeah,
that's awful.
Why
do they make
like
that?
Iron or metally or like I don't know. It doesn't taste right.
Horrible.
Beans talk on Old Man Meat. Talking
Welcome
beans.
to Bean Corner.
Got the beans segment of the podcast. Have you tried any good beans recently? Any good brands? Branston's been up on my radar recently.
Do Branston's do beans?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've never had Branston beans.
Oh, get on it, man. Short word from our sponsor, Branston Beans.
Branston Beans.
So you Parasite.
Yes. Parasite worked for me in a lot of ways. I think quite rightfully it was seen as like one of the defining films of the 2010s, and was big because it won at the Oscars. It won Best Picture and Best Director at the Oscars. First time that a foreign film was won. I think that was it, wasn't it? The big thing. It was the first time. But No Other Choice didn't work for me as well because I think Park is doing too much, and I think it's constantly.
It's a very dense film.
From the get-go, he's moving the camera constantly, and it made me feel a little motion sick at times.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel like he's like constantly like, I'm moving the camera, look at this metaphorical thing I'm doing. Whereas with Bong, it was all very like, he was doing a lot, but it's still understated in a way. I don't know how you explain that, but with Park, I don't know, I just noticed it a lot more that he's doing all of this stuff, and it's just like, oh, isn't it, look at this is important, let's zoom in and let's move the camera this way.
Yeah,
and
I felt like, if cinematography wise, I adored like the shots in this, like small bits like where he's doing the shots with he's doing like a bomb or whatever with the guy, and then the camera's inside the glass, and then it like does that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a really good shot, and yeah, maybe some of it is just a little bit virtuous, like look at what I'm capable of, and you know, being a little bit of a show off. But I mean, if it's good and it works, and you know, maybe I mean, it is such a dense movie that I think you know, and it comes to that argument where it's like, should a movie, if a movie is so dense you maybe don't understand it, or you can't take everything in on first watch, is it still a good movie, or should a good movie strive to be dense but, you know, engage and digestible on one watch, you know?
That's a good point.
But I kind of fall more on the density side of it. One of my favorite films is Inherent Vice, and the first time I watched that film I was like, what the I just thought it was garbage, and then I watched it 2 or 3 times, and then each time I kind of learned a bit more about the film, the characters, and the universe that you're in almost. And I feel like there is a similar thing going on in No Other Choice. So I've only seen it once, but I could easily watch that 2 or 3 more times, and probably just like pick up on small things. Like I do remember the characters being really rem. Alright, we're going to take a short break. Some technical difficulties in Old Man Media. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. Will spilled a glass, and then when I went to check all the recording software, I realised we weren't recording video. We started recording some now, but we might include it on the YouTube for the last half, or we might just go old school. So we'll talk about the characters. There's like the guy who he's like the bachelor, successful paper guy. He lives in that hut.
And he's the one in a job, isn't he?
He's in a job. He's really successful, and I think he's like,
my favourite bit of his character is every time he takes a drink, he has to do the chicken arm like that. That's great.
And his Instagram name is something really funny.
I can't even remember that bit.
Oh, it's like Mr. One bit. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be in Korean?
No, it was in English, or maybe I don't know. Maybe there's different cuts, but. Yeah, it was like a English name. It was like Mr. Paper Beer or something. It was like whiskey. It's something to do with whiskey, you know.
Because he's obsessed with whiskey, isn't he?
Yeah, he. Don't know what he's supposed to signify. If he's just supposed to be like.
He's young, though, isn't he? As well, that's his other thing, is that he's the
young, successful. You know, he's a little naive and loves partying a bit too much, but he's also like, you know, he's. What is his character's name? The son.
Oh, I can't remember it.
I've got it written down somewhere. But to the main character's dismay.
Do you want me to hold that?
To the main character's dismay, the main character is called Mansu. To the Mansu's dismay, he's young and successful compared to him. But he admires him on social media, and there's that whole aspect of social media. What that could, how that could influence.
I mean, obviously. I mean, The Axe was written in. When was The Axe written? I looked this up earlier. I've forgotten. God.
72.
Welcome to Old Man Media. We don't know any of the facts. Because The Axe is actually quite an old book. So obviously, like they're completely kind of updated. All of the stuff that was in the book. It was 97. So, precedes a lot of quite how bad it would get for people. And, they've made it feel a lot more current. And it being about paper, I think... I guess in 97, they knew that kind of paper media was on the way out anyway. And... but yeah, obviously now, like, you know, you read books on a Kindle, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the paper documents in an office that are now just like Google Docs documents.
Yeah.
You know.
And so yeah, that was very choice by Mr. Westbrook. And going back to Parasite, one thing I did just want to mention quickly was that I think where Parasite works for me and No Other Choice doesn't is the balance of tone. That's something that Bong, I think, has worked a lot of his career doing, whereas Park hasn't really. Like,
what is in the mix of humour? And
yeah,
like
Decision to Leave
drama.
Isn't really like that much, which is his last film before this. It was a lot more kind of serious the whole way through. I don't really remember there being too much comedy.
And Old Boy is pretty serious.
Yeah, very. The ending is especially. And so this feels like a new foray for Park doing this kind of Looney Tunes stuff. And I think there are parts of it that do work a lot, like very well for me. But I don't know if... I don't know. I don't want to be too harsh on him and say that, like, I just feel like he's being Bong. But, like, that's just what it feels like from a...
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this movie, but from a standpoint of, like, you know, being artistry, it is a complete Bong rip-off. But he does it so well, to the point...
He does do it well.
You know, if you dropped me in, you said, you're watching a film, and you put me in front of No Other Choice and didn't tell me the director, I probably would go for Bong Joon-ho. Like, I don't think I would see the elements of Park.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Blindfold Test, I would just say that's a Bong film.
Well, you can't watch a film blindfolded, Paul. Is that it?
What?
We got any more things to say about?
Yeah, well, I guess I got some stuff to talk about that we haven't really gone over. You know, I felt like the film was like a parody of the job market, in a way.
What do you mean?
Like, it's sort of a parody of looking for a job in the modern age. You know, the whole plot being, you just got to kill all the other applicants.
Okay, right.
And you know, as someone that was recently job hunting, it's just like, it's just such a shit process. And, you know, even with the use of AI, like, one of the best sort of symbolisms of AI in the film, I thought, was when he's reading off his hand.
Yeah.
And he's trying to he's like going around reading off his hand things to do, and that's kind of like how a lot of people operate. They're like, I've got to make a life decision. Fuck.
Yeah.
I did kind of rely on that in the job hunting process. I was like, like, my CV's just like, I can't just, you know, trying to think of a way to make stuff look impressive. And you put it into ChatGPT and it just like makes the world sparkle. It's like, like, you know, if you're a toilet cleaner or something, you're like hygiene management sanitation officer, and, you know, all just like bullshit to the point of, like, you know, and it takes like your own ego out of the equation. Yeah. Which in some times can help, but also I think it can be used to purport things to a little bit of an unhealthy, you know, image, you know. And being on the other end of it, I've had been places where you get CVs handed in and you look at them and they're like, yeah, you can tell within the first like few minutes it's been written on ChatGPT. And that was like some of the stuff that people include, man. Like, someone didn't really have much experience to work at a bar, and they didn't. But they were like, one of their skills was organisation, and then it was like, I have maintained and upkept a diary. And you're like, the ChatGPT is scraping the bottom of the barrel for you right here, bro. Like, but yeah, it's just it's kind of like the like, it is a very Looney Tunes process in the modern day, kind of like searching for a job.
It does feel like you have to stretch every single piece of experience you've ever had into like whatever would suit this job. Like, I mean, I applied for an office job the other day that I don't really have any experience in an office at all, and I had to like stretch being, you know, a delivery driver into like, I can work in an office. It's just like, it doesn't. But it's funny you bring up ChatGPT and job hunting, because I was at work yesterday and someone, without really like asking me, was just like, because I was having a bit of an existential crisis about what job I'm going to do. And they were like, why don't we just put it in ChatGPT? And it just came up with professional footballer.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, or a football coach or something. maybe that's next for me.
That'd be cool. I mean, there's a certain scene for it in the local area, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny going back to what you said earlier about the shots feeling really quick and like you're getting motion sick and me saying it's so dense, and feels like you know. It's definitely an evolution of Park as a director, where he's gone, I need to modernize myself, and even to the point of like, I feel like the film's got this like, you probably understand it more than me, but a lot of modern films now, even every film I've seen in the cinema in the past like year, it has this really modern gleam, the color, what do you call it, the color grading, and everything. It feels like it's moving in a direction of style that, in a good way, you'll be able to look back and be like, that's a film from the 2020s,
Yeah.
But some of it's good, some of it's a bit jarring to me. I felt like this fell in like quite a stylized and nice use of it. But it definitely is him embracing like the modernisms. I feel like Korean films are the best to incorporate modern technology as well, in terms of like having a phone on screen and being like, we're FaceTiming, we're on social media. Some films do that and it feels really forced.
Yeah, a lot of films will include a phone and it's just like, what's going on here? Like they'll have the bubbles coming out of the phone. I hate that. But like the way it filmed the phone with the face and the phone, like that felt quite innovative.
Well, yeah, interesting enough as well. I in my like refresher, I saw something talking about how the phone screen is used to show a lot of the characters at their lowest moments, Right. There's like, he's constantly on the phone, on FaceTime to his wife and kind of trying to act
when
he's
like stalking that guy as well.
Yeah, when he's like just like actually doing really depraved shit in, the name of a job search. There's stuff like that going on. And he's covering up to his wife and lying and to her face. And there's that really funny one where he's gets bitten by a snake, and then this woman's trying to like get snake venom out of his leg, and then he gets a call on FaceTime. He goes on FaceTime, and all you can hear is like in the background, and he's like making weird expressions, and like you're just like, obviously looks super dodgy on FaceTime. That's another thing. I'm like, that's very silly and Looney Tunesy. Don't know what it's trying to say though.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't have to.
There's also the woman who kills her husband, who's like the drunk guy, and she uses his gun. She uses a Mansu's gun, and then the officers arrive, and she's got to just scroll through on an iPad, looking at all these models of guns to find which one is the one she used to kill her own husband.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of like moments in the film where people are sort of faced with their own decisions and actions through a phone screen, which is it's an interesting incorporation of modern technology, and I guess it serves more than just being like a gimmicky period like indicator.
Yeah. Also, I thought the gun was really interesting plot point.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of is from his granddad who was in the Vietnam War.
Wouldn't have been because it's a North Korean gun, no? It would have been the Korean War. What was it?
I thought it was from his serve.
Because I thought the whole point of the gun was that it was North Korean, and they were like, "Where has this guy got a North Korean gun from? Why would a North Korean gun be from the Vietnam War?" Because I remember actually watching this in the film and being like, "That doesn't make sense." Actually, because I'm pretty sure it does say. I'm
pretty sure it was to do with their involvement in Vietnam War, and yeah.
I don't think the North Koreans fought in the Vietnam War.
South Koreans
maybe, but North Koreans, I don't think. Because South Korea was basically a satellite state for America for a while, so I think it probably still is, really. But North Korea, I don't think had any part of the Vietnam War. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I feel like it's quite an American film in a way that, like I was talking earlier about all these crazy characters, the Instagram guy, and there's like, I feel like it's like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood-esque vibe of all these characters that he comes across in his journey. The drunk guy, the whiskey guy, and like. It all feels very caricatured. So I really enjoyed that sequence as well, with the dance, and he realizes that his wife's gone to that dance without him. And then
so they're Native American.
Yeah, she's like dressed up as a Native American, and he's dressed up as like Napoleon-esque, or not. It's supposed to be Lord Nelson, or
no, it was supposed to be the guy. It was supposed to be Sacagawea and what's his face? Clark and. Lewis and Clark, but one of them, I can't remember which one. That's really interesting. I mean, there is a lot of, obviously, with the Korean War and the split, and then South Korea for, pretty much till present day, it has been a satellite state for America. there is a lot of Americanization of Korean culture going on in Korea. So yeah, that's an interesting point.
As well, there's another point about integrity sort of costing you, in the modern day and age, it costs more to have integrity, because he loses his job because he doesn't want to fire someone else or something, isn't it? Or
I feel like he
gets told to fire a bunch of people, and then he starts a union or something, and then he gets fired.
He wants to start a union, and he starts to go up to because they're American, aren't they? He goes up to them and starts preparing a speech, and then he just gets cut off. The American guy says, "Sorry, there was no other choice."
Yeah, and that's that's commonly used, that phrase in the film. Obviously, the title, and yeah, I think that's the company being American might have some sort of significance in it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like he's lost
a lot of American investment in South Korea.
Yeah, he's lost his job through being having integrity, and it's like in this day and age, it's easier to just shut up and go along with it than to stand out and potentially lose your job and earnings, and the ending's quite good as well, where he's just like in a warehouse full of machines, and it's like he's the last man who's made it through all these hiring processes.
Yeah, and it's worked for him, this whole process. Yeah, which is I thought was quite a surprising.
Well, you didn't think?
I didn't think that was going to happen.
I felt like it's kind of like it's dark humor of just like, that is exactly how.
Yeah, no, I think the ending does suit the comedic, the black comedy tone that Park was striving for, certainly. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's definitely worth checking out. I think a lot of people have got a lot from it.
I love it. It's actually it's probably my favourite film I've seen this year.
Oh really? I mean, I've not seen many released this. I mean, it was released last year. Isn't it technically 25 film? But
I only just saw it this year. It only got released in the UK this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's what sucks about being in the UK. Those films come out so late.
Yeah. But, at least you get your top-notch podcast coverage instantly from us. Have you heard about like the Prince Charles Cinema stuff recently?
I know that there was a lot of trouble before with the owner. Because they're renting the space, and the guy who actually owns the building wanted to up the rent or something. But I thought that got settled. Is there something else that's come out?
No, I was talking about I saw they put an announcement off where it's like,
try
and meet the films at their level or something.
Oh
because
God, I hate this.
People laugh, you'll watch a David Lynch film and people will laugh at certain moments where, there is like weird stuff going on screen. And they're basically just like, I sort of follow this internet thread about it, and people being like, like Prince Charles cinema goers are just like, not, the work, because people make noise during a movie, and it's like, there is a certain choice that you make when you go to the cinema that you are, subjecting yourself maybe to a crowd experience, which can affect the way sometimes there will be movies that I just don't really vibe with. But then lots of people are seemingly enjoying, and it makes me want to invest more and give it more of a chance, and vice versa. Sometimes I'm enjoying a movie and everyone around is like, laughing, and I mean, actually, that's when it kills it. You're like really invested in a film, and someone laughs at something, you're like, fuck off. I genuinely enjoy this.
Yeah, like it has been it's been talked about a lot. Like recently, like audience members just laugh at anything that's not even intended as comedy. Like, and this is the big problem, is that they're laughing. Anyway, so I saw a thread about this recently, and there's lots of examples of it, and I wanted to read a couple. People laughing at heat at certain moments. The establishing shot of New York in Twin Peaks Returns, people just start laughing. A small child dies, laughing.
What, in The Return?
Yes, in The Return. Blue Velvet, giggling audience during Blue Velvet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's definitely the David Lynch stuff.
Is, I mean, yeah, because I mean, I get it. The kind of the imagery is weird, and like people aren't used to that, and then so that it makes them uncomfortable. I think people laugh when they're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I do it a lot as well, but I don't do it in the middle of a cinema. But yeah, I'm glad that they're not mincing their words.
Yeah, I mean, I sighed during Hamnet audibly.
Yeah, I didn't laugh when the when the kid died. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's not buying into the film and the emotional weight of the film, and then there's laughing when a child dies. It's like does the film intend it as comedy? No, then don't fucking laugh.
I'm trying to remember what the.
I think a large part of it is films like The Room, and people look at it like that was an earnest attempt at a film from Tommy Wiseau. Okay, it looks stupid as fuck, and it's none of the.
He's talking about his heartbreak, man.
But like that was an earnest. Also, another one that annoys me is Who Killed Captain Alex. Do you remember that one, the Nigerian film? Like, okay, right, there's funny, like, yeah, right.
I think that's funny.
It's Nigerians like with no budget doing stupid, cinema. They
I think out of context, it is kind of funny.
Yeah, but like that's like their genuine attempt at making films and films that matter to them, and like. They're attempting to portray something with absolutely no budget. They're making an action film, and like the action obviously looks shit, right? But it's like, okay, you meet it at its level, like Prince Charles Cinema is saying. You go,
but if the level is pretty mediocre, then like, just because it's the best they can do doesn't mean you should applaud. I think there's a certain difference between just like. Try because once you put a bit of art into the world, you can't control it. Becomes its own life form and entity, and I don't think you should be like enforcing how someone interprets or enjoys a piece of art. If you, I do understand if you really love something and you go to see it in the cinema, you can get a little bit pissed off, and that maybe that experience should be held for just people that really love it. But then it's like that's gatekeeping, isn't it? If you're like everyone who isn't going to sincerely sit down and watch Twin Peaks: The Return with me isn't allowed in the cinema, and like that's what your home is for. If you want to escape for better or worse the opinion of the public, you've got to take the bus and you've got to deal with a guy sneezing and you've got to deal with all that. That's like a cinema is just a public place at the end of the day, and I don't think. I think while maybe putting a message out and recommending people not to do that, I think you're not entitled to be annoyed when your art gets taken and laughed at, because that's just what it is. That's the aim. That's the name of the game, baby. And David Lynch would, I don't think he would have minded. He is the last person to tell you how to interpret his art, and I think some of his stuff does have a good humour to it.
Yeah, no, I think there is humour to David Lynch's work. Absolutely, I just don't. There's not. To me, if you watch like Blue Velvet, there's no laugh out loud moment in it.
Oh, well, there's like he finds an ear in a field, and you're like, what? And yes, there's like Frank being.
Oh, there's
come on, man, Dennis Hoffer.
That is
Pabst
okay,
Blue Ribbon, and him just
funny.
being like, like he's a bit of a fucking maniac in that film. And the performance is a bit comedic, I think. But.
I don't know. When I watched it, I didn't find that bit like hilarious. I found it like menacing, but also there was a comedy to it. But I don't know. I just don't want to sit in a cinema with people laughing at bits that obviously aren't funny, and laughing at the film, not with the film. I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah, so it's a fair point. But yeah, I do find it interesting because it's Prince Charles Cinema is like the biggest kind of independent cinema in the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's something that's coming out recently. It's a movement in the film world of the UK.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because I've heard about a lot of that happening in New York, like the podcasters to people talking about people laughing at the cinema in New York. Didn't realise it was happening at the Prince Charles so much. You don't really get to the Prince Charles that much.
It's definitely not happening at the Odeon Port Solent. I'll tell you that for sure.
The view in Gunwharf is clean.
The view in Gunwharf, mate. Only the most esteemed and eschewed diplomats of our country go there. They know how to enjoy a piece of art. Any closing sentiments?
I remembered a story recently that somebody told me a few years ago about going to the cinema, and it was to see the film Epic. Remember the animated film Epic?
Like about a Greek guy.
No, it's a fantasy film about they ride like dragonflies or something.
All right.
I don't know. Anyway, apparently a drunk guy stood up at the back of the cinema and went, "This isn't epic, this is shit." I remember that. That's funny.
Well, I remember we went to see Taxi Driver, right? Was it you? No.
I didn't see Taxi Driver.
No, it was me and Joe went to go see Taxi Driver, and I drank like 4 or 5 beers beforehand, and we were in the middle row. And it was a full seating, full cinema. The Duke of York's in Brighton, another lovely independent cinema.
Not independent.
Yeah, not independent, owned by Picture House, but
Carry on.
and I just had to piss like 5 times during Taxi Driver, so I was just there like every time I'm waiting for a bit where I was like, I'm not that fussed about seeing this bit on a big screen. I was like, oh shit, Martin Scorsese's on screen, so I'll stay. And then like, okay, I'll go piss. And then coming back with more beers as well. I've definitely been that guy. I've definitely sinned. I've definitely, my conscience.
Do you remember the time we saw Battleship Potemkin at the BFI?
Not really. But this was just poor plan, or maybe poor understand. This is when I was younger, and Will was the film guy. He had all the good films, and he was like, "I've got tickets to see Battleship Potemkin." I was like, "No, that sounds cool, man." It was on a day when we were celebrating our friend's art installation in South London, and then we had to have drinks at like Las Iguanas. Had like 4 cocktails or something, and then he's like, "Right, we're just gonna nip off now and go see Battleship Potemkin because it starts soon." Then we go around the corner and go to this BFI, South Bank, I think it was, and then it's like a black and white silent film.
I hadn't told him.
And I fell asleep. I think it was good. I guess it's like the iconic moment
great.
with the pram on the stairs, and I did, but it was like I wasn't in the mind. I'd gone from socialising with friends.
That's not a film to watch drunk.
So I fell asleep during that. Also went to go see Dune. I think that was with
David Lynch. Dune.
No, Dune 2. Electric Boogaloo with Timothée Chalamet, and I drank some beers before that, and I slept most of the way. No, I didn't sleep.
Watching Jackass 4
I just pissed a lot.
Was good. Do you remember doing that?
What, in the cinema?
Yeah, we did that. Me, you, George.
No.
Oh, that was good. It was, if you remembered it.
Got an awful memory at the best of times. Yeah, another knockout episode. We'll see you.
A bit all over the place, this one.
We'll see you next week for potentially having our first guest on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. It could be one of 2. We're not sure which guest.
Yeah, on 2 very different films.
Anyway, we'll leave it as cryptic as that. All right, Old Man Media signing off.
See you next week.